that's kind of weird. But hey, who knows?
They're not married.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
He got all spiritual and weird, dude.
I know.
Like
It's kind of
Spiritual how? Did he go like hippie or did he go like Christian?
no, like super hippie.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, I think a little bit of both. I think he mixes
Yeah.
belief systems quite a bit. But I've seen a couple of the interviews with him since he went all weird, and like he has apologized to Katy Perry. He just says he was a terrible husband. But yeah.
You know what's nice about that though is that's believable.
Yeah.
That's one of those apologies where you're like, yep, that's right.
That's true. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so is anyone else excited for this weekend?
Penisly speaking.
Well, I mean,
This
always.
weekend? Maybe.
Yeah, a DC movie that might not suck.
Oh, is that this weekend? Shit.
Yeah, I believe it's this weekend, boys.
Wait,
I did
what
not know that.
DC movie is coming out?
Shazam!
Oh, that's this weekend. Oh,
Yeah,
That's the same. I think I'm looking forward to it, but I totally forgot it's this weekend.
pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I didn't know it was this weekend either.
Shazam release date April 5th. Yeah, that's this weekend. Also, by the way, I can't say that out loud because my dog might crap. Because
Is that a superpower?
that's the key word that when you're training dogs, you do this word that's supposed to encourage them. Then you give them a treat. Part of the potty training and makes it
and
easier.
so you made your Shazam.
Yeah, because I figured no one.
I'll never say that again.
This is so obscure. It will never come up except one time in the future. Some random stranger is gonna say it and be very surprised.
Yeah, now there's a whole movie, and every 10 minutes the TV goes Shazam.
Yeah, pretty much. So now I'm afraid that if I get too excited for this movie out loud, she's just gonna start peeing and pooping all over the place.
I'm looking forward to it though. Like I will probably go see it this weekend.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna try, but I only have one day off this weekend, so I'm probably gonna do other things.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited about this one.
It looks good.
It looks really good.
And I mean, honestly, if it's at least as good as Aquaman, I was happy with Aquaman. So
Yeah, agreed. That's fair. Which is, it's a new feeling. Like I wasn't excited about the Justice League, like
No.
Dawn of Justice was something I was not excited about. Remember that? Remember we said every time we talk about that movie, that's how we'd say it.
I'd like to forget about that movie in entirety.
So yeah, it's kind of weird to actually be excited for a DC movie, but it looks good. Someone pointed something out to me that I hadn't realized. The actor is the same actor that played Chuck.
Yeah.
You totally blew my mind. I always knew he looked familiar. I was like, oh, I probably know him from like SNL or something. But no, that's
that's Chuck.
that's where I saw him. Yeah, yeah. I'm in for this.
That's old Chucky boy. That's not a thing.
So before we jump into some of the content, I have to tell a story.
There's such a good segue there.
What did you say to me?
There's such a good segue there.
We're Segway killers. It's what we do.
All right.
No. So we started fostering a dog this weekend. And
Okay.
apparently they get super stressed out, and she hadn't gone to the bathroom. She just went on her last walk, and the reason this is hilarious is the things that came out of her butt were as big as my other dog. Because we have a
She's smaller than your dog?
we have a tiny little dog. That's ours, and we're actually fostering like this large lab. It's like
Okay.
she's like 55, 60 pounds or so. And yeah, dude, I was sitting there. I had to use 3 poop bags to get everything. It was massive. And I was like, oh no, man, that's as big as my small dog. But yeah, no, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it was
See,
funny.
I thought when you said that, for some reason my brain went to like
The other way around?
I didn't know it was a bigger dog or a smaller dog or what, but like she pooped the same amount that your other dog pooped. I was like, is she like tiny or something? Is
No,
that why
but-
it's amazing?
Also, that wouldn't be funny and or interesting. That'd just be like, yeah, that happened.
well, that's
My old
I didn't know
roommate
where it was going.
Impressed because my frog would take poops, and my roommate would come out and go, "Oh my god, I've taken poops that same size."
Yeah, but your toad is weird.
He's still alive.
Yeah, no, I remember he'd sit there and be like, I know there's food around me, but I refuse.
Mm-hmm.
and nothing, and nothing, and you're like, oh, we're gonna have to kill that mouse. It's getting too big.
Yeah. Now he just lets them freeze to death in his tank for a while because he's an asshole.
And then does he eat them afterwards?
No, we don't give him the chance. He's not supposed to.
Fair enough.
There's no predicting it. He doesn't. For anybody who's like he's letting mice die, you can't really tell when this thing is hungry. It's an ambush predator, so it sits. That's it. That's all of his activities. He sits, and then when you put a mouse in like every other week, and even like everything I read is like every week they have to eat every week. I'm like, well, he doesn't eat every week. So, and I've changed his conditions. I've moved different climates, and trust me, I've got this frog dialed in. Oh God, he's like 8. So believe me, I take good care of my frog. He just there's like 2 months a year that he just ate for the first time in 2 months last weekend. Because he just won't eat. So after like 2 or 3 times of putting a mouse in and him not eating, you stop obviously. But yeah, there's like 2 or 3 mice. He'll just watch slowly die, and then just move to the side of the tank they're not on because they smell bad. Throw them away. And you wait 2 weeks, you try again, and after 2 or 3 times that, you go, okay, maybe no mice for a couple of weeks, but you also can't not feed him, because once he does get hungry again, he's going to sit there.
So
there's no change in behavior between hungry and not hungry.
Just because this is actually pretty fascinating. What kind of toad you have?
An ornate horned frog. It's not a toad, it is a frog.
Oh, I thought you had
a Pac-Man frog.
Okay, yeah. Pac-Man frog. Crazy.
Yeah.
And the weird part is that there is a difference between a frog and a toad.
It's mostly environmental stuff, but yes, frogs are different.
Yeah.
Frogs are different than toads.
So
it's like turtle tortoise.
So when I was a little ESL kid, I always thought a toad was the boy and a frog was the girl, because in Spanish,
right,
there is that like the nouns can be masculine or feminine. And right. I just thought it was hilarious, as I'm realizing, and it's still in my head. And I think I've said this before, but like, a truck is a lady, and that's just how it's stuck in my head forever, and I can't help it.
I've heard that.
So a lot of times I especially a lot of my army buddies and they're very car guys. They're like, oh, pointing to their Mustang, going, my girl right here, and I'm like, you have a weird relationship with your boy car.
Do you fuck it?
Yeah, so. Anyways, all right. You know what we haven't done, and that was pointed out to us? We haven't talked about games a lot lately, so let's front load some game talk.
Front loading game talk
for you today.
See, we'll fix it in post.
Yeah, fix it in post. Klops, I hear you played a game recently.
Yeah, but I'm not going to talk about that first. I'm going to talk about the new Borderlands 3 trailer that came out.
Oh, we should talk about that. That's
okay.
That's fair.
First off,
that's fair.
Fuck both of you, because when I asked what are we talking about, I don't have a graphic for that because y'all didn't say shit.
That's fine. That's fine. It doesn't have to be a long thing. We don't know a whole lot yet.
No, we don't.
But we can do it quickly. Klops, go ahead. Let the boy speak, Eduardo.
Well, I was mostly going to ask, what are you most excited about the new Borderlands? Like, out of all the characters that they've shown without telling us anything, which one caught your attention the most from the trailer?
Do you want to go? You want me to go?
You go.
So, it's funny. When I was looking up some Borderlands 3 stuff, I actually saw somebody make the exact complaint about the thing that I'm excited for. So I want to say it was Polygon, but I could be wrong. So don't hold me to that. It was a Kotaku, a Polygon. One of the major sites was like, Borderlands 3 looks like it's not changing much from Borderlands 2, and this is why that sucks. And I was like, I was just talking about how I'm kind of done with looter shooters, but Borderlands does such a simple looter shooter scape, you know what I mean? Like, it's the most drilled down looter shooter you can hit. Honestly, Borderlands is the only looter shooter I'm interested in playing, and if they add a bunch of elements from modern contemporaries, it's totally gonna fry it for me. I want a new story, some new features, some new graphics, but largely I just want Borderlands. I just want more Borderlands. You don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what killed Fallout 4 for me. fucking base building and shit. No one was playing Borderlands going, or sorry, no one was playing Fallout going, you know what this needs is some base. No one asked for that. they just did it. And to me, it just felt like, oh yeah, we fucking everybody else was doing it. If Borderlands comes out and Borderlands really just is giving me more Borderlands, sold. And that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited that trailer and everything they showed just looks like more Borderlands.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm also really excited about that. But also, what character drew you in?
I mean, Tiny Tina is what introduced me to Ashley Birch, and I love Ashley Birch.
Mhm.
So excited for Tiny Tina, but also excited that the Telltale characters are making the jump over. I think it's great that Gearbox is like, yeah, no, those are great characters. Why would we not use them?
I also like the fact that it's more than just the one planet now. It's going to be different planets as well as what it seems
From the
like,
looks of it, yeah.
which is really cool. But the character that really drew my eye from the new ones was actually of the playable characters, the tiny chick in big ass armor that was running around with mechs and stuff. She seems she's gonna be the new commando.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think
kind of
it's gonna be
dope.
a lot of fun.
I'm also curious, is the robot Loaderbot from the Telltale games? Because they gave Loaderbot a new body and he was shown kind of dressed up like a bounty hunter. I'm actually kind of hoping that playable robot character is a beefed up Loaderbot.
Well, that big guy, as far as I know, he's the only one that we have confirmed any abilities for, and he's like a druid that can Beastmaster things.
Oh, lame. I was kind of hoping it was fucking Loaderbot.
Well,
It'd be
the
so
the
good.
Beastmaster one, I think that's pretty awesome. Also, they're not 100% sure that he's a Beastmaster. Some folks are thinking that he might be more like a Necromancer kind of thing, where he can revive enemies. Because there's been a lot of speculation about it.
I would play him. I'd play that one. The
I figured you
Beastmaster, not
would.
so much.
Well,
But the Necromancer, big guy, I'm in.
let's also be fair about one thing. I will play this game through every character, through every tier of game I can play it through.
Well,
I
I
do
think
that
it's
with every
because you
Borderlands.
have a problem.
Yes. I love Borderlands.
No, I think it's great. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm not just excited for Borderlands 3, which definitely the thing that's always drawn me to Borderlands always been the fact that I can play co-op with friends and progression co-op, right? Progress your story, progress their story.
Yeah.
Very few games let you do that anymore. And the writing, the comedy has always been there for me. I couldn't give two shits about the graphics, cell shading, whatever. It's harmless.
You know, the one thing though, Anthony Birch isn't working on this one, and he was the head writer for 2 and Pre-Sec, I think.
Well, I didn't like Pre-Sec, so
I
whatever.
didn't mind Pre-Sec, but one was also really funny.
Yeah, one was also
Yeah.
pretty funny.
That was kind of, people were like, what are they going to do with Adam? I'm like, probably just what they do with any other game that doesn't have the credit for it.
I mean, it's I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
He's gone on to weirder pastures, from what I hear. We already
Hey, their,
thought,
their stuff with Rocket Jump was great.
yeah.
Also, guns with legs.
Okay, I thought no one was
So-
gonna bring that up.
For me, that's a lot like the you got the guns that reload by throwing it and having it
Yeah.
explode and
Yeah.
digisecting a new one. I feel like that's going to be a reload mechanic. Instead of reload, it grows legs and runs off towards an enemy shooting or something.
And
Sounds
that's great.
Yeah,
I'm in.
I'm in. I thought it's little things like that, the gun that yells when you fire it,
Oh, yeah.
like things like that, or the really powerful gun, but you move at 1/100th of your speed.
Oh yeah, you're super slow. Yeah, I know. That's what drew me into Borderlands. That's why I'm excited for this Borderlands, because it's more insane, crazy fun, right? It doesn't take itself seriously. It's not trying to be this serious story where everyone is blah, 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 blah. You know, it's over the top. It has these over the top characters, and they lean into it, and that's why I'm willing to go back and play Borderlands. It's probably the only looter shooter I'm willing to go back and play at this point.
Same.
But
Same
but
boat.
on that note, where was Torque?
I thought they mentioned him. I thought they saw something. They said something about Torque.
No, I didn't see anything in the trailer. Did you?
I thought I did.
There's a few characters who could be in there that aren't.
So
This is
I know.
probably story integral characters, and everybody else will be side stuff.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
know one of the characters that was one of my favorite characters is dead now. So I know he's not coming back.
spoiler.
spoiler for what?
If people haven't played that, you can't expect people to play side games.
Did he die in a side game?
Are you talking about who I'm talking about?
Who are you talking about?
Yeah. He died in Tales, which is made by a completely different company.
I thought he died in one of the expansions.
No. I am 1,900,000% sure because I played that live at PAX.
Okay, well, he did.
They did a live PAX playthrough with a full audience of that chapter of Tales from the Borderlands.
Okay, well, he did.
He did.
Just, let's be real. He did.
He did. Well, and you know why they killed him off, right?
Actor dead?
The actor has cancer and wasn't sure that he was going to be able to continue. I never looked up if he had passed or not. I don't know. But when he was at PAX, he told the audience that he had cancer and that he was just, this was going to be his last game. That was the character he voiced. He wanted it to be done.
That's fair. Yeah, that's interesting. It's like there was a character, I think Star Trek Online has a plaque to a character like that passed away, and in like the courtyard they have a plaque to this particular super fan.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah, things like that are gamers can be full of vitriol, but sometimes they're pretty cool.
We're just people, man.
Yeah,
it's like
man.
playing interactive media.
All right, Klops, what game did you play?
All right, I played this game called Mutant Year Zero: Road to Eden. I can never remember the name.
Was there another one before that didn't have extra words, or was this just another one of these?
This is just another one of those. This is the ad words.
We talked about this when we were doing our E3 coverage.
Okay.
We looked at this game, but this is Klops is now playing it.
Yeah,
this looked really good. Like it looked like a nice, weird kind of XCOM turn-basy kind of thing.
Yeah, it definitely has that feel to it as far as like the skirmishes and stuff. And it's a pretty interesting like story and setting and like the characters that you play, because you start off with this mutant boar and a mutant duck, and they're called mutants. They're actually called stalkers.
Is that a mallard with a cold?
Maybe.
Get out.
And so like the whole thing, like they never really address, at least as far as I could tell so far in the storyline, which I maybe halfway through the storyline, maybe a little bit less than that. And I'll get into why I'm only that far in a minute. But they never really address like where these two mutants came from. They're the only two of the kind that they've seen so far that have been like mutated animals of some kind. And they kind of talk about that. They do touch upon that. There's a couple lines where it says, I've been looking out for duck bodies this whole time and I haven't seen any. Right? So we're not even sure if there's other mutant duck and boars. There are other mutant people, because you run into a third character pretty early on who is also a stalker. And the reason they're mutants is because they when they level up, that's how they level up. They use their mutant abilities to like gain something in some way, and it's instantaneous instead of using a kind of time for a skill and stuff like that. And each one has their own different playstyle. The boar is more of a tank. The duck is more of a sniper and slash ambusher. And the human, I can't remember her name, she is more of like a kind of stealth saboteur character as far as their stuff. And they each get their own unique abilities and stuff like that you can level up and go through. Like the mutant girl, she has a ability that lets her, if you take it at second level, which costs 7 points to dump into, any half cover counts as real, like full cover, which is really useful for her, which means you can put her in some pretty questionable spots for other characters and be able to hold it really well. And the combat is just like XCOM. It's not over the shoulder, but it's like almost bird's eye view of like the area, and you can move it on how many squares you get for your movement speed and stuff like that. Each of your gun has ranges, and they each vary in different range. Some might be like 5 squares, some might be 20 squares. And it's all about positioning and basically line of sight. And you can do Overwatch with them, so that if enemy runs across, they'll take a pop shot on them or not, right. And the enemy can do vice versa. That being said, I really struggled the first part of this game. It is really tough. I put it on hard because I've played these kind of games before.
Because you're a glutton for punishment.
Well, I've also played tactic games before, and I don't want it to be too easy. Otherwise, I'm just going to lose interest in it. And I think there's a fine line between being too easy and too hard. And the reason I think that this is unbalanced in the way that I'm saying is because I had to go to zones where enemies were like 25, 35, and 45. And I had to stealth around and pick up gear and supplies in order to progress through the storyline tree that I was on. Just so I would have enough gear and enough stuff to kill the enemies that I needed to kill in order to gain the levels so that the next area that I go in wasn't overpowered because of levels and gear. Right? And it was cool. I mean, I can do that. I'm not opposed to stealthing around and exploring this world and stuff. But it also leads me to worry about, like, later on when I reach those levels, will I have enough supplies? Will the supplies I gain from these storyline missions, from me running around doing stuff, equate to the stuff that I need then? And probably not. I have some pretty bitchin' armor. Like, I found this really nice, like, I think it's like armor goes in like 1, 2s, and 3s so far that I've seen. It's a 3 armor. I threw it on my tank. I haven't found anything better for him yet. But that was a level 45 area that I snuck around and found this armor. Because there's no level restriction for the gear.
So it's not like they threw you into the thick of it, from what it sounds like. You just decided to get too big for your britches and go out there.
No, not at all. I went out there because I had no supplies. My guns were inadequate for taking down enemies. Even stealth ambushing enemies, because that's one of the perks you can do, is you can run around and you can, as long as you don't get caught by the enemies and they have this like orb around them that shows their field of vision, which I really don't like. I don't like the orb around the enemy. I'd much rather it be like front facing, like they look around and stuff and it moves a little bit more. But it was just basically anytime you're in this red circle, if you are not hiding, which also is kind of weird because I could literally be hiding behind a boat and the enemy could walk at me and I'm in front of the boat to them now, right? You know, hiding up against this thing, and they'll walk right past me, not even tripping because I'm hiding there, right? But the minute I activate or try to move in this red circle, instantly spotted and instantly alerted to the guards. Because they'll instantly yell and the other guards will hear them and then there'll be a big fight, right? So even ambushing enemies where it was like one enemy against my 3 characters, there were times I couldn't even take down an enemy because I just didn't have enough damage from my weapons at the time. And it was level appropriate.
Okay.
That's what pushed me to going to these other zones, to finding better gear and gaining a bunch of scrap, upgrading my stuff in order to come back and wipe them out. So, because you also need to kill everything in order to get the experience so you're level appropriate for the next areas.
How's the RNG? Because that was one of my biggest complaints about XCOM.
Well, I mean, if your chance is 100% to hit it, it's going to hit it. If it's 75% chance, there's sometimes where it misses. And there's been times where, like, I needed to take out an enemy.
The joke with XCOM is that it seemed like anytime you had like an 80% chance, you actually had a 20% chance. Or when you had a 30% chance, you probably like a 90% chance. There were these weird patterns where if you had certain numbers, it was just better to not play.
Yeah.
It became kind of a meme with XCOM for a while.
Okay, yeah, so this is a little bit different than that. It usually tends to go in 25, 50, 75, 100 chance.
But does it seem to hold to that pretty well?
Yeah. Like, is it pretty steady?
It does. There's been times where it's like 50% chance and I've hit him as well as missed because it's a 50-50 crapshoot. I will say, though, that sometimes it seems the enemies do have the advantage as far as percentile, because there's been times where I'll be in full cover and they'll be in full cover and they'll take pop shots at me and it'll be a 25% chance, right? It's equal chance across the board, and they'll hit me and I won't hit them. And then I won't hit them, and then I won't hit them, and then they'll hit me, and they'll hit me, and they'll hit me, and I'll go down. So it's definitely a little bit more stacked in the favor as far as the AI, and they also have numbers on their side, which is where I'm having the issues, right? Like, it's not just like even right now, if I picked off, because it's level appropriate again, because I'm back in a level appropriate area, I have my gear and stuff. Even if I picked off a bunch of guys, if I still don't play my terrain really well, I'm just going to get overwhelmed and get flanked and get fucked. Especially with all the different abilities that are happening, because they have robots that that basically can heal people. So even the guys you down before the combat, right, that you ambush, if there's a med bot around and like you're in active combat, he'll start running towards those bodies to get them back up.
So
And it's 2 turns.
it's starting to sound like this game is like the old games where hard actually meant hard versus nowadays where a lot of times hard doesn't really mean hard. It just means the bad guys have more life.
Right.
Well, it says that they have more life and that they take less damage.
But it also sounds like the AI is also ramped up on them.
It does, but I wonder if that's more of a balancing issue than actually like it being on hard. Because I'm sure that even on normal they would still play the same because of the way that their tactics are and what they do. It's just that they're beefier, so it's me having to put more damage down range at certain enemies at certain times. There are enemies that aren't really that strong that are like marauders and stuff, right? They're like unarmored enemies that are really fast that do melee attacks or something, right? So if you're able to take them out first, you can take out their numbers. And then you have other guys that are armored and stuff like that. And sometimes you have to concentrate fire on those guys. And it's really about picking and choosing which ones you're doing. The problem that I ran into, like I said, was I didn't have enough supplies, even for the storyline stuff. So it literally pushed me to going to other places to do this. And maybe they did that on purpose so that I'd have to explore the map and come back later. Because there's still stuff that I couldn't access because there's just too many guards patrolling it. And it was always in red. And unless I fight things, I won't get it. Right? But it just feels like that's a really poor way to do it. Like I was going to explore all the other areas anyway, right? Because I want to explore the world and do the things. But it feels like I was kind of just shoehorned into having to do it.
This sounds like a game I'd love to have on my Switch.
It'd be really fun. Like I'm still planning to play it more. Like I want to pin. I don't know if it is or not. I only know it's on PC as far as I know.
I knew it was getting a console release, but I don't know if they did it at the same time.
I doubt it. Switch.
Probably not. But anyway, I'm going to keep playing it. I think it will get better. I just don't know how well it's going to hold up in later runs because there's some pretty beefy enemies that I still have to fight and stuff. So far, it's still intriguing. Still has a lot of interest to me as far as the world and what's actually happening and the storyline that is happening. And like still overcoming those battles because I am kind of a glutton for punishment. But I just find it hard to recommend to people because of how it was presented to me.
Okay.
Not everyone's gonna have a really good time stealthing around these high level areas, getting gear, and be like, okay, like that was time consuming. I took like 4 hours to do that. You know? So I just find it hard to recommend to people. It's a very niche thing, I feel. But if you liked XCOM and you like a challenge and you like that stuff, it's pretty good. It's pretty decent. Storyline's not poorly presented or anything like that. And it does have like a good quips between the characters and stuff and like them talking about things. And it's also really fun to interact with like the world, how it is, and like hearing their perspective from never knowing any of this stuff, right? You know, like they talk about things like a refrigerator, right? And it's like, I heard they found this box that keeps cold up in the north where it's always cold. The ancients were really weird.
That's kind of fun.
And stuff like that, right? So it's really well written that way too, and it's immersive that way. Honestly, I'm not going to give it a rating right now because I still want to play it and do a full review on it now. But if it's something that you feel that you might like, if you're on the fence about it and you like XCOM and those things, I definitely recommend it. If you're not into those kind of games, I don't think this is one that's going to win you over. Go play another RTS somewhere.
Get out of here with your casual shit, Kaz.
Yeah, actually, I'm interested, but I would never. It sounds like I'd never play it on hard because I mean, don't get me wrong, XCOM and Shadowrun are probably the only 2 turn-based games that I really, really like. Shadowrun, the story really drew me in, and I was like, I put up with the what do you call it, with the turn-based. And XCOM, I don't know. XCOM got to me in a particular point where it just worked for me.
I still have to go back and finish those games. I haven't beat them. I have them. I just haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm currently replaying XCOM 1 on my iPad because they released it for iPad, and it's actually good.
Nice.
It's a good game to just play while you're on the couch watching TV, hanging out, you know.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. I like the fact that because you can watch it play or watching TV, you can just stop. watch a little bit of TV and go back to your stuff. I think it's pretty great.
That's the cool thing about turn-based. Honestly, when I play turn-based games with like Aaron, because you're playing the Total War series, which I'll get into eventually.
It eats battery like a mother, though.
I'm most of the time watching something while he's doing his turn, and then just like bringing my attention back when I need to on our turns, because it's such a slow turn-based game.
Right.
But all right, so okay, you won't give it a rating, but you're totally recommending it. That's fair. And actually, let's keep this game vibe going. I like where we're at. There's another game we wanted to talk about. Bonsai, you want to get into this?
You were like the shittiest MTV VJ ever. I like this vibe we have going here, guys.
What? Why does that make me shitty? That makes me a great VJ.
MTV VJ.
Yeah, they're all shitty. I am the best of the shitty.
So I started playing a Switch game. I don't love it as much as Klops likes his game. So I started playing Bendy and the Ink Machine. So it's a survival horror. I mean, that's really it. It's a survival horror. First person, but it's kind of done in a Cuphead kind of environment. I don't want to say world. You're not a cartoon. Basically, here's the premise. You're a dude who used to work on this old cartoon called Bendy. You get invited in by your old partner to check out what's going on at the studio and this thing he made. And you get there, and there's like all these tubes with black ink running through them. And like you restart the ink machine, and then horror ensues. And you spend the rest of the game kind of doing fetch quests and running from a weird, creepy demon ink monster and like little imps that pop out of inkwells and stuff.
So it's supposed to be like, was it Penumbra or?
Never played it.
So what type of gameplay is it?
First-person survival horror. So think like BioShock, but way less shooting stuff. Like
So it's
like
just-
90% less shooting stuff.
Do you shoot things at all?
You get an axe. You do have to fight some stuff, and actually the part I'm stuck on right now is because they give you like a gas pump nozzle to fight these three dudes with, and I'm having problems staying alive. Short game, 5 chapters. Chapters are taking me maybe an hour each. Not too bad. I mean, look, it's not bad. And if you're into the survival horror, the game really does a lot of things really well. But for me, as a big fan of a particular kind of horror and not being super familiar with the survival horror genre, I'll be honest, I was drawn into this game by the aesthetic more than anything. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big survival horror fan. And the reason I'm not a survival horror fan, this game is very guilty of, it's a lot of jump scare kind of stuff. So because you're in a studio that produced this character Bendy, there's lots of cardboard cutouts of Bendy. So a lot of times you'll be walking down a hallway and a cardboard cutout will be like staring at you and then disappear. And then you'll round the corner and there's the cutout, but there's nobody there moving it kind of thing. There's a lot of jump scares like this. And for me, I go,
So there's another game that this is reminding me of. It's called Spooky's House of Jump Scares. And
well, at least they know
just
what
on the
about.
title. That's
wait for it. Okay, it was a free game that came out a long time ago. I think they finally got it on Steam, and it's like $10 or something like that. But you can probably still find it for free. But the premise of it wasn't actually the jump scares part of it. There was actually a legitimate horror like element underneath it all. But that was kind of its running gag, is that you were like, it was, I think, 1,000 rooms or something like that. Like it's a 1,000-room thing that you're supposed to go through. And like starting off, you go through and you maybe find a note or something that's talking about something that's like, okay, whatever this is. And a little cardboard cutout will just random like show up of like a different creature or something, right? You're like, okay, and you keep going. And then it becomes this thing of like, there's legitimate creatures and monsters and things that you got to fight and like run away and like not combat with or try to just get through, right? Because you don't have the like means to actually defend yourself well.
right.
And you're like going through and you get past them and you're like, all right, I think I made it. And you like turn a corner and then a little pop out happens. And you're like, ah! And it's like a legit little jump scare, right? It was a joke thing that was part of like, it was done really well. Like I normally
That's
don't
fair.
like jump scares either, but the element that it was playing in was that, and it seems like this game was trying to do something similar.
So this isn't that.
Okay.
This is, and like, again, I know I say this a lot on this show, and this is one I truly feel bad about. I don't hate this game, but for me as a player, there's just nothing, like, I don't know that I'm going to finish this. I've made it to chapter 3. The game was cheap. It was $25 used at GameStop. So 25 for a Switch game is not bad, because Switch games do not drop in fucking value ever.
Right.
It was versus this or oh shit, I'm forgetting the name. Night Timer or something like that. It's like a Zelda-esque role-playing game, but it's all about you go and travel dungeons to beat up bad guys, collect stuff, and then go back home and sell it at your shop.
Oh yeah, that's the one. I don't know the name of it, but I remember. It was like
I'm so sorry I can't remember the name, but it looked really fun. But that was $35, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy Borderlands on Wednesday, so I'm not going to be buying. I don't want to spend a bunch of money on a game, but I do want something to play all weekend. So I picked up this, and I don't feel bad about buying it. It's a cool experience. I love the aesthetic. I like the story, but the gameplay for me, it's a lot of walking around. And I'm sure if I was like, this is a me problem, like me in particular. I'm not a memorize maps kind of guy. I'm not really good at memorizing, like, okay, a left here, a right here, and then I'm at this location. I'm not good at that shit. I have a horrible sense of direction. I'm really, really bad at memorizing maps. It's a personal fault. This game relies a lot on map memorization, but you know what's funny is I've made it to chapter 3 with minimal problem. It just takes me twice as long because I have to wander back and forth going, fuck, where do I turn this in again? Like, I'm more just getting lost, but it's not like I'm getting lost and I'm dying because I need to memorize the map. It's I'm getting lost and I'm spending 20 minutes doing a task that should probably take 10 because I'm getting lost. So for me, the game ends up being a lot of like, walk around. Oh, the bad guy's coming. Let's hide in this cupboard. Oh, fuck, I'm hiding in this cupboard. Good time to go make a sandwich or grab a beer kind of thing. Like, it's a lot of downtime.
I'm gonna be here a while.
And for me, right, like, oh, I'll be fucking hanging out. Like, there are points where you can just set the game down and walk away, and it's fine. Like, nothing is going to happen.
So it can't get you inside the, like, lockers and shit?
Not if you get in there before he shows up, and you can tell the bad guy's showing up because the room starts to turn super dark. So if you run and get inside of a box, you can get in there before he catches you. Most of the time. 80 to 90% of the time you can get away from him pretty easily. It's not a bad game. It's just not carried out very well. I think this was a port, to be fair. I think this was like a PC small Steam game that got ported to Switch. I could be wrong about that, but I thought A Buddy at Work. So A Buddy at Work suggests this. That's mostly why I picked it up. And the cheap price helped sell me. And I'm not the kind of guy to like sell games. I'm not going to sell this and go, this was shit, I'm going to get something else. No, I'm going to keep it. It's fun. I might finish it someday. This week ain't the fucking week, though. I'm already over this, and I'm ready for Borderlands. So all in all, I'll give Bendy and the Ink Machine 2.5. Cuphead was better. Like, they're not comparable, but they're comparable kind of thing.
Because of the aesthetic?
Yeah. And how close together they released. Because, like, this isn't, like, a new game. I'm late to the bandwagon on this one. Yeah, just all in all, unimpressed. Sorry, just not a fan. But not a fan because it's bad. Not a fan because it's not my kind of game, and the story is only carrying me so far.
I really do think survival horror is wasted on you and I.
Right. This is like me playing Street Fighter. I'm not going to rate Street Fighter very high because I'm not a verse fighter game. Like, it's not my genre. So, like, I can't take away from the legacy that is fucking Street Fighter. Me going, I don't like Street Fighter, isn't going to fucking hurt Street Fighter. Street Fighter doesn't need me. It's fine. It's the same thing with this game, though. Survival horror has its fans, and if you're a fan of survival horror, I think this is a creepy aesthetic that will totally play to that audience. It's just not playing to me.
See, I like survival horrors, but my problem is like, I end up playing a game that's like, okay, it's just more stealth-based, around the monsters and stuff. And I get frustrated. I get frustrated because I can't fight anything, and like, it doesn't feel like I have like a good balance, and I'm just getting fucking like railed on the whole time, and like there's like a super simple puzzle that I can't figure out for some reason.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna throw one more jab at this poor game. I'm so sorry. Another problem, though, honestly, with the maps, I'm like a big landmark guy. Like, oh, turn left at the fucking tree that looks like Lincoln. I'll figure out where I'm going or something. You know, all of the rooms look the same. Like, sure, there's different stuff, but like the hallways that connect things, and maybe that's part of it. Is you're supposed to feel really transient, but I mean, seriously, unless you're great at memorizing maps, you're gonna get lost a bunch because so many things are like, oh, it's another yellow-brown hallway.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like there's 3 colors in this game: yellow, brown, and black.
It works. It works for
white.
some games,
Yeah.
like Spooky's House Jump Horrors. It was all like it was like the Doom aesthetic, where it was like the old Doom and like old like Wolfenstein 3D, because it was one. I think it was like 1 or 2 people working on this. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
like
that's perfect.
thing, right? And so like they were all like playing together for like, yeah, it's pretty much the same rooms, just regenerated in whatever way. But like a game like that, it seems like it should have more variety to like the artwork.
Fair enough. Yeah, this type of game isn't something I'll try because first off, I'm okay with the aesthetic. I find it novel, but I'm not like super into it.
Right.
And 2, survival horror to me, I'm just like, I want to have the option to be able to shoot things. Like sometimes I go stealth in games. I mean, I just hate the fact that I have to.
If I wanted to take a nice walk, I'd go walk my dog. I don't need to do it in a game.
Hey, man, you know, games are art, and dear Esther.
No, like I've just lived in janky neighborhoods where getting stabbed was a real possibility. So walking around in a game where the possibilities you get stabbed but you don't have to feel it, I'm like, oh look, a spooky hallway. Let's fucking walk down there. Like I don't care. Fuck you.
Honestly, I think for both of you, the one game that I'll recommend as survival horror is the Alien Isolation game. I think that would be a good balance.
I do want to play Isolation
for you two.
Does it do jump scares?
Yes.
I mean, in some extent
it does.
No, in some extent, yeah, but it's not. I wouldn't count it as like jump scares as like the normal jump scares. Like, there's definitely things that happen, but it's very much you being hunted.
Okay, because my issue with jump scares a lot of times is like they'll get me. But I've got PTSD. Loud noises just get me anyways.
You don't gotta try that hard. You
Yeah,
can get them
no,
poppers
dude.
from
Like,
the ice cream man.
and the only thing it does is it upsets me. Like, I get legitimately a physiological response, and I get mad. So why am I gonna subject myself to a game that's supposed to be making me relax, just make me mad all the time?
That's not the point of survival horror. It's to be tense.
Yeah,
for a lot of survival horror games.
I'm even tense. I'm not sweating it.
Yeah,
I'm not most games either, but like Alien Isolation.
Way too long on this game. Eduardo, another topic.
Titans. We're talking about Titans.
Oh God. Okay. You know that thing I do where I just kind of shit on something and explain the whole thing? Fucking get ready for that. And we're going to move through this one quick because there's a better thing to talk about. So I watched Titans. I picked up DC Universe, the streaming service, $75 for the year. Honestly, legitimately, if you have $75, it's worth it. The service has been totally worth it so far. I love the comics that you can get and throw them on your phone. What I'm not loving so far is the original series, namely Titans. I'm sorry to all the critics and the people who are really enjoying this and giving it nothing but praise. It's not good. I'm having a really hard time finding any redeeming quality, and I watched the whole first season.
Oof.
So
that's bad.
What do you want me to rant first, or do you want me to get the couple of good things out of the way?
Let's start with the good, because I think everyone's used to you ranting.
Okay. The guy who's playing Gar, Beast Boy, he's killing it. I don't like that he's not green, and they're really, like, this is not his fault. The writers are not utilizing his character, and I will fucking get into that. But he is doing everything he can with this character. He comes off genuine, he comes off likable, and he is one of the better performers in this cast. Hands down. Love this dude. Love him. Great.
Okay.
The villains, though scattered, are interesting and fun. And they're not villains that I'm familiar with from the comics, though I'm by no means like a DC expert. I read my share of comics, not familiar with these guys. So that's kind of fun. I'm out of nice things to say.
Wow.
Like, that sounds like all of them.
We got to
sorry,
two.
no. There is one other thing, and it's totally underused. Love Hawk and Dove. When they announced that Hawk and Dove were going to be part of the Teen Titans, I went, really? You couldn't pull two better fucking Titans than Hawk and Dove? No, legit, Hawk and Dove are two of the best parts of this show. Hawk and Dove are dope.
Okay.
They're in maybe 2 episodes.
Oh,
2, maybe 3 episodes have Hawk and Dove in it.
that's rough. When one of the better parts just wholly underutilized.
Okay, it's rant time.
Oh, is it?
So let's get this shit out of the way, front and fucking center. 2 of these people can't act. They're horrible. They need to be recast. They are dragging this show down. They are an absolute and total slog on the entire thing. And unfortunately, it's both Robin and Raven. They suck. They both suck. Raven just comes off as so, like, she does these things where she's like, I'm clearly making a vulnerable gesture, but it's fake. There's nothing real about it. It looks like somebody pretending to be vulnerable. It's painful. It is so bad. She's terrible. She is awful. I would have taken any other casting choice they had. I'm like, this actress, and it's not the writing in this case. The actress is pulling me out of things so bad. It's jarring. She's so bad. And the dude playing Nightwing is selling anything but the character he's trying to play. He's trying to do this like, I'm cool and badass. And it's like, no. You clearly just worked out really hard like a month before you started filming to kind of get this chiseled look that your body shape does not pull off. You don't sell any amount of intimidation. You have no cool factor to you. The guy's painful. It's horrid casting. The girl I wanted to rag on, Starfire, she's doing what she can with the character. It's not an amazing performance. It's not a trash performance, but the character's so poorly written, things are just getting muddied in the middle of it. So they've taken the character of Starfire, given her amnesia, and kind of turned her into like boss bitch gangsta hooker. Like, legitimately, she runs with a rough-ass crew and has amnesia and is looking, get this, her planet is going to get destroyed if she doesn't stop Raven, and that's the whole reason she comes to Earth. But then she just starts rolling with gangsters and builds up a name for herself, being a It makes no fucking sense. It doesn't fit. It adds nothing to the character. It's fucking muddy. It's insane how poor it blows my mind. You're literally handed like she's an alien, and you can do anything with that if you're gonna go off book, and this is what they picked. It doesn't work, and it doesn't provide anything to the story. So Dick Grayson, let's fucking loop back around on his piece of shit ass. Dick Grayson is real mad because Batman's too mean. So he had to stop being Robin because the darkness was getting brought out, and he can't help but like savage bad guys. Let's do a small aside. The violence in this is over the top, and it's not in a fun way. There is a way to do over the top violence, like Zombieland, like Kick-Ass, like Deadpool. You can do over the top if it's being tongue in cheek, if it's being fun, if it's being absurdly over the top. On the other hand,
or interesting, like the Umbrella Academy.
You can do dark and gritty. You can do Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, or honestly, the Dark Knight trilogy. When you're going over the top but peppering it, it's subtle, subtle, subtle. Blam, something big. Subtle, subtle, subtle. Blam, something big. Something jarring. Something crazy. That's how you work this. This show, every fight scene, people are getting hit so hard, they're puking up blood, and people get stabbed in the dick, and their eyes get punched out, and their teeth get knocked out, and it's brutal, and it's gory, but it's all the time. And it's not even fun. It's not fun. It's not whimsical. It's not original. There's literally a part where Robin peels the R off of his shirt, throws it into a guy's eye, peels it back out, and sticks it back on his chest with the blood running down it. And it's like, who is this for? Who is the intended? It's not the comic fans, because the comic was never like this. It's not Christopher Nolan Dark Universe fans, because they were never this over the top and graphic. It's who is this for? Who did they sit around and go, these are the people we're trying to hit. This is the target audience. It doesn't fucking exist.
It's all the hardcore kids.
I honestly, I can't even see it. I hang out with a lot of those kids. I can't even see it appealing to them because it doesn't come off as genuine. There's a part where this dude's threatening to cut off Hawk's dick with like these hedge clippers, and Robin just takes them and stabs him in the dick.
It just sounds more and more edgy the more you talk about it.
Yeah, it sounds comical as shit.
Honestly, if you take nothing else from this review, just look up the opening credits to this show. The song, the way they do it with the visuals, everything just screamed, hey kids, aren't we being edgy as fuck right now? The whole thing is just like, I feel like this was exclusively for 13-year-old boys. Not 14, not 12. They hit this niche market of like, when are you just most filled with testosterone and just want stuff to get punched? That's this.
It probably was.
And then the season fucking ends with the darkness and Raven corrupting Nightwing, and now he's got black face paint, and he's a demon because he gave in, and he's evil now.
Oh, dude, did they go Spider-Man 2?
Yes!
Or 2 or 3, I forget which. Emo Spider-Man?
Even worse, they introduced Jason Todd in this. And for anybody who's read the comics, Dick Grayson was kind of like the Boy Scout Robin, always doing what Batman wanted him to, until he became Nightwing and went, hey man, I don't want to be you. I think you are a little bit over the top. But that was the thing with Grayson. It was never like, Batman's a psycho. It was the guy's too hard, and he has no balance to live his life. And that's what Nightwing really wanted. Jason Todd is way less intense and aggressive than Dick Grayson is. He's a jackass. He's kind of a smarmy asshole, but he's nowhere near as over-the-top violent as Dick Grayson is in this.
That's kind of lame, because if anyone was going to be over the top,
it should have been
Jason
At one
Todd.
point, I looked at my wife, and we're watching it, and they hadn't quite said he was Dick Grayson yet, and I was like, so is this Dick, Tim, or Jason, because he can work as any one. He has the clothes of Robin 1, the attitude and violence of Robin 2, but he uses a staff like Robin 3. They just couldn't decide which one they wanted to do, but then they still picked one and added another one because funsies. The show just doesn't work. It doesn't work on any level. It doesn't work on any medium. I don't get it.
I heard you bitches like Robin, so we took all your Robins and put them inside another Robin.
Oh, it's so bad. I cannot suggest this show. I can't.
All right.
None. 0.
Okay, give it a rating though.
0.
Out of?
That's edgy as fuck right there.
0 out of
rating out of the 0.
It's again, it's because it's so confused. Maybe, just maybe, a season 2 they'll go, okay, I think we know what we're trying to say with this show now, but this whole first season seems transient. It doesn't know what story it wants to tell, really what it wants to do with the show, what it wants to say with the show, and it has 2 absolutely awful performances. Just cripplingly bad.
All right, are you gonna try season 2?
I'm paying for the service. I'll give it a couple.
Okay.
So, here's an upside, though, in case I just scared you off. I'm not done with the season yet. I think I'm 4 or 5 episodes in. Doom Patrol's dope as fuck. Love Doom Patrol.
Boom.
Doom Patrol is so good. And here's why. Doom Patrol feels honest. The characters are people and they're doing things and they have feelings. And like, there's a point where I just watched and they started doing this over the top, gory action. And I was like, oh, fuck, are we getting into this? But then, wait for it, the character feels bad about it because it's a horrible thing to do. And even though these were bad guys attacking him, he knows he took it too far. And he feels like a piece of shit. And then another character who's kind of known for being a little on edge and over the top violent sees what he did and goes, fuck, and walks away from the guy because this was just supposed to be a dude and he unleashed his inner bad and it made everybody feel bad. And that's how things work in the real fucking world. Oh, the show is so good. It's low budge. Like, the effects and the makeup aren't great, but honestly, it kind of works for it because there's some camp factor. Like, there's some major camp factor just to the Doom Patrol being the Doom Patrol. And so having some kind of cheesy, low-budge shit happen really works. It makes the show a little bit more charming. And I think it helps sell the tone and the aesthetic they're trying to sell. Doom Patrol, and at least so far, again, I'm 4 or 5 episodes in. This could take a hard fucking right turn and just be garbage. But I guess maybe give it this grain of salt. I read a lot of Teen Titans. I am a big Teen Titans fan. It's what got me into collecting comics. I'm not a big Doom Patrol reader, so I'm not super... Like, I know the broad strokes. I know largely the things the Doom Patrol has done, but not the details. So maybe it's not the most faithful adaptation, but at least the show as a show is very fun. It hits the right notes, the characters are likable, there's a great running plot that I'm interested in and into seeing to the end of it, unlike Titans, where it was just very contrived. Doom Patrol is great, and Doom Patrol has me looking forward to the Swamp Thing show, which is starting up in a couple of months here, because it feels like the channel is maybe figuring out that it doesn't need to sell hard, gritty, dirty violence 100% of the time. And Swamp Thing is a smart choice because it was always a darker, scarier, more horror-oriented comic. So it can work with that tone that they're trying to strike and still find a sweet spot for itself.
See, for me, I know it's a long shot, but the reason I'm interested in Swamp Thing is because I'm hoping to God that it'll help revive Constantine.
Oh, so this is, I have to say this just for you, Eduardo. There's one part in Doom Patrol that'll piss you off.
Oh.
They introduce a character that really just should have been Constantine.
Oh.
Like, he's this magic guy who's got a lot of bad luck, and he knows all about the occult, and he's kind of a smarmy British douchebag.
Oh, it's all the things I enjoy.
So the character's fun, the episode's fun. It's actually the one I'm in the middle of. I'm not done with it, but the whole time I'm watching going, fuck, the only reason they're not using Constantine is because he's a running character in Legends of Tomorrow, and they're not going to piss off CW while it's making money.
That's fucking lame.
I'm kind of just choosing to watch it as though this character is Constantine until they say something that directly conflicts that in a way that matters.
Constantine is one of my favorite, I mean, now DC, but is one of my favorite comic characters.
Yeah, I right before I left, I was like, fuck, I have to tell Eduardo this. He's going to be so upset.
All right, so now I do want to point out we're running out of time here. We're actually a little bit over, but do you feel that you are so down on Titans because you were such a fan? Do you think that's influencing you, and you're giving Doom Patrol a lot more leeway because you weren't that invested?
No, because my wife is not a fan of Titans or really any tight spandex superhero stuff, and even she's watching Titans going, I'm really just making it through the show so we can start Doom Patrol. Because they do introduce Doom Patrol in Titans, and it is one of the better episodes. But
okay.
No, the show just it's not that it doesn't work because it's not following the comic. I've watched I loved Wanted, the movie. It doesn't follow the comic. It doesn't follow the fucking comic at all. Titans doesn't work because the show is bad. It's not a good show.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I just wanted to bring that up because I know, especially nerds, we can be a little harsh on things that we enjoy when they're
absolutely. And I'm not saying I've never been harsh on something like that, but no, there's been things that I'm more invested in that have turned out worse that I was not like. The Walking Dead show is god awful in my opinion, and I'm a big Walking Dead fan. The show sucking doesn't hurt me. I don't care. Same with Titans, man. If the show's bad, doesn't honestly, the last Teen Titans show, it's nothing like the Titans. Teen Titans Go doesn't offend me, and it's nothing like the show that was good. This is a bad show.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And all right, so on that note, fuck this thing. Fuck it in particular.
It's really bad. Try it for yourself. A lot of critics seemed to like it. I hate it.
You're just crass and low.
I'm toxic and crass, bro.
Toxic and crass, man. All right. Thanks for listening and or watching. Check us out live Monday nights, usually 7 to 8 there on our YouTube channel, which is In5D. Also Tuesday nights, 7 to 9, we're doing the live action RP World of Darkness. And by live action, I mean we're all live. It gets pretty zany when people show
Zany.
up. All right, on that note, bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Titans sucked.